Hey guys, thanks for stopping by. My name's Patrick, and today I want to go over parts, events, and clips in Cubase Pro version 9.5. So I think understanding these concepts and how they work together will really help you with other things when you get into track versions or direct offline processing, fades versus auto fades, and a lot of other things. If you don't understand this, it makes that a lot harder, especially when you get into really big projects. It just can become a nightmare and unmanageable. So hopefully this will help you get a good grasp, and you can go further. And let's get started. So I have opened up a new clean project called Parts, Events, and Clips. I use Windows, and in the Windows Explorer, I've got the project folder, Parts, Events, and Clips. On the Mac, the Finder will have the same structure. Under Audio, you can see there's nothing in there. If I were to get some media, we'll just grab a piano part, double click it, and it drags it in here, and we can see this is now populated with a clip. And you highlight it, it'll give you the actual clip name, and by default this description will be the same. Actually, by default it's not even shown. So if you right click in that area, you can display the description. You should probably do that for this tutorial. The pool, Control P, you see the clip right here, and as well as the browser, the project browser, Control B, you can see it right there. If you look in track data, there's that same file. So if you forget the shortcuts, they're here in the project menu, pool, and browser. So we could just, let's change the name of this. You double click, it's going to open it up in the sample editor. But we'll call this piano clip. So that's the actual file name. You can see that the file name has changed here in the audio folder. You can see in the project browser this track data for this track. Track data is now accessing piano clip. What is this? Well, this is that description field that I was telling you about. So we can put whatever we want here. We'll just say my fave piano, just so you can see. So the format of this is it does the description, and then in parentheses is the actual clip, which is the file name. Piano clip, piano clip, piano clip, all the same. Now, if we were to cut this clip up, this is how long. It's 4 bars long. I can't go any further than that. So if I were to cut this up into bar segments, let's hold down Alt. You can temporarily get your scissors. You can also hit 3 on your keyboard. Or lastly, you could go up here and get the scissors that way. I prefer just holding down Alt when I need to cut something. So I have cut this into 4 different 1-bar clips. And you can see each one of these is accessing the same clip. So our clips haven't changed, but it's been used 4 times now. 4 different events. They're shown right up here. The file hasn't changed a single bit, But if we look in the project browser, we see the 4 different events. They're all accessing this same file. And this is telling, when do you want me to start playing, from where in that file. So you can see these correspond to exactly where it starts playing. And that corresponds to this offset number. You know, we're starting this, and these, if you highlight these, they're going to highlight here. So that's helpful. So say this one. Say we temporarily just move that down there. So we still have access to the whole clip. We're only playing a selected part of it. So, and that's this offset. You can see when it's here, when it's all the way at the beginning, there's no offset. We move this here, now we've got a 1 bar offset. So that tells it where it's to start playing. So that's important to understand. And also your fades. If you wanted to fade this in, you could grab the handle here and you can see this fade in number changing, which corresponds to this. So you can see that moving as well. So these are what's called event-based fades, because they only act on the event. So to show you, if I were to duplicate this track, watch what happens. Okay, so we have 4 instances, right? I duplicate it, guess what's going to happen? Yep, it's going to go to 8. We've got 8 different events. What's it going to show in our project browser? Well, we've got this track. Let's actually rename them to make them easier to understand. We'll call this track 1. And we'll call this track 2. Surprise, surprise. And you can see they're updated here. Track 2, if we look at the track data, it's got 4 events. It's playing this clip. This is when they start. We'll go over snap in another video. But your volume, your fades are here. I can take this and fade it as much as I want without affecting this one, because it's an event-based fade. Auto fades are clip-based. So this is rendered real time as it's playing back, so you can keep these things separate. If I wanted to take the level down on this one isn't affected because this volume is event-based. So just set that. And so all of this stuff, we've got one clip here. So at some point, we probably want to change something about one of these clips without affecting all the other ones. So say we have this one selected and we process some audio. We'll make it obvious. Let's see. We'll reverse it. So I don't know if you saw, but this reversed, but also this reversed. So why did that happen? Well, that's clip-based. And we have now reversed, so we don't have any more files. It's still the same file, but what Cubase does behind the scenes is create this other folder, not the audio folder, but you go into your edits, piano clip reverse. So what it does in real time, it's playing the original file we saw. When it gets to bar 2, it switches to this file, and then on bar 3 back to the other one. So since we're only dealing with one file at bar 2, that's going to play this clip and this one too at the same position. It's going to change. So to make that difference, let's undo that. Let's see. Make sure we're okay. So if we want to just affect this one, what we would need to do is call the bounce. And that basically renders a new audio file for whatever is selected. If we have the whole event selected, it will take from bar 2 to bar 3. That will be your new clip. So let me show you. Now it's called piano clip right now. And we were to go to audio, bounce selection, replace events. If you say replace, which you normally do, it's going to put that new file right in that spot. If you don't, it's still going to create it, but it's just going to leave it in the pool, and you can drag it wherever you want to put it. But this will look the same. So we're going to replace it. And you see this track 2 showed up. And that's the actual file. If we look in our audio folder, we should see a second file. Yep, we sure do. Called track 2. Track 2. If I were to take track 2 and reverse it, now let's call this piano bounce or something. And you can see that's been updated here, and it's been updated here. See, it's accessing piano clip and then piano bounce, and then back to piano clip. And these piano, and this file that we created, well, we can't go any further. This is the limit, because this is where the file starts, and this is where the file ends. So, so that's important to understand. When you bounce something, make sure you select what you actually want to get rendered as a separate file. If you don't, you're going to get unexpected results. So I want to process this now. I go to audio, process, reverse. You'll see that move, but the one above it isn't touched because this is a completely separate file. If I were to mute it, here that's all backwards, but this hasn't been touched. So that's nice. Now if we were to say duplicate it, Control D, and say we have several different versions or selections of a clip at specific points that we want to keep this relationship. I want to keep these gaps in between. Well, you can turn these into a part, which is basically a container that holds events. So I'll select all 3 of these events. We'll go to the audio menu, events to part. Now those are in a part. I can move them all as a group, and their relationship to each other does not change. You can also, this is very handy when you're creating stems, exporting stems. Typically, I like to have them all start at 1.1.1. So, I'll put them in a part and I'll drag the part so it starts at 1.0, and then when you do a file export and do an audio mix down, all your channels, these tracks are actually going to start at 1.1.0 because that's where this part is. Now, since it's a container, when you double click on this part, we open up the part editor. And those are very similar looking to what we saw before. So if you wanted to get to the hit points or vary audio or all the other things you can do at the sample level, you need to do a second double click. At that point, you open up this sample editor, and from there you can access the audio board and all that stuff. So that is parts. One other thing I wanted to, let's see, we're going to go over parts, clips, events. One other thing I wanted to show you, we'll do this with a instrument track. Just pick a standard Groove Agent SE. Just load the kit. All right. So we have this MIDI drum part. I can duplicate that. It's an exact copy, but these aren't linked in any way. They're separate events. I can open up this one and say, actually, we're going to remove like the first half of this part. So I take all these, delete them. You can see they were deleted here, but not here. So that's what you get when you do a straight copy or duplicate. As opposed to repeat, which you get from edit, functions, and repeat or Control K. Now I can create multiple copies, and if I want, I can have them be shared copies. And you'll see if I click shared, you get the little equal sign here. That means these are all linked. So say I were to change just delete the last MIDI events in that bar, you notice that did those for all of those. Now, I would assume that it works the same way with audio, but it doesn't appear to. So on audio, like say we were to, if you ever want to undo a part, say I want to get this out, you need to dissolve it. You get that by going to audio and then dissolve part. Now you got separate control out of these. But so for instance, you can obviously Control D to duplicate just like before. And you can see, let's see, track 2. Track 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 3 different parts, all pulling from that same file. Now, if you were to do a repeat, Control K, okay, we'll create 3. Well, first we'll do unshared copies. So these should be just straight copies. And sure enough, they're all accessing the same bounce file. But you notice I don't get the little equal sign indicator on here. I just get the audio waveform, which I know. So I would assume if I do Control K, repeat, and I shared, I would think you would get the little equal sign that we saw down there, down here. But you don't. Now, the files, it's accessing the same exact file. So with audio, it's bouncing, which is going to determine the actual file it's playing. The repeating thing, and if somebody knows why that's even there, I would love to know, because to me it just makes it more confusing. I typically will use bouncing in audio files, and I mean I use that in MIDI too, but that's a whole other tutorial. But as far as doing repeats and shared copies, I only do that on MIDI. So MIDI tracks or instrument tracks. So, well, that's all I got for you today. Hopefully this has enlightened you. And if you have any comments or requests or anything at all, you just want to say hi, put it in the comments down below. Please watch some other videos. I think they're over there. And subscribe to my channel. It should be over there somewhere. So, and have a great day. Talk to you later. Bye.